All right, so this is your AT2000 processor. The on-off switch is here on the top. The temperature readout is here. It's at 80 degrees. We like it to be between 80 and 82. And then this is your ready indicator light. When you start putting your films in the processor, that processing light will flash. And then this is just your power light that tells you that everything is on. The chemicals we use is developer and fixer. We check those levels down under the cabinet. The developer's with the black tubing and the lid, and then our fixer is with the red. So we always double check to make sure the jugs are full. When they get down to about a quarter left, then we end up changing them out to a full jug. Okay, so this is the portion of the daylight loader. You will actually lift the lid here, and then on the inside there is a shelf that your cups go on, and then we have these, this little ledge is where you actually feed your films in. If you see the little lines that indicate kind of like a lane almost, or a row that you would insert each film in, you're going to put it every other space when you insert the films so they don't overlap. In this drawer here, it's labeled cleaning film and biohazard bags. At the beginning of every day, we grab one of the cleaning films. It's just a clear sheet that we run through the processor, and it gets the processor up to temperature, and it also gets any debris or dust that may have settled on the inside of the processor. So you would just place this in here and feed it onto the ledge where you place the films at the beginning of every day. We also, when you're processing, we grab one of these biohazard bags, and you'll actually place one in the processor to put your garbage and paper and gloves in there. All right, we're going to walk through the steps to develop your manual films with the AT2000 processor. The theory there that you would have 4 cups, there's 3 in a stack, and then a single cup that would have your unexposed film. So while you start exposing, you would take the unexposed film out of the cup, get your XCP, expose it, and then after it's exposed, you would place it in your stack here. That way you don't get the unexposed films mixed up with your already exposed films. So once this cup is empty that had the unexposed, you would toss it. So then you're going to walk into sterilization with a stack of 3 cups. All right, so now that we're in sterilization, since this is considered our dirty side of the counter, I want to get a paper towel and place that down. You set your tray on here. I'm going to grab one of the disinfectant wipes and set that down, and grab one more. And then we're going to go ahead and take the cup that has our exposed films, and then we're going to set that aside, wipe down, because essentially these would have been in the patient's mouth, so you need to disinfect those. So when you have multiple films, you would just keep wiping them down, set them on the disinfectant wipe. Then when you've wiped every film down, you'll take it and put it in your stack with the 2 cups that are left. Throw away the Cava wipe, the disinfectant wipe, with your cup. You're going to toss it in the garbage. You're going to actually take your gloves off at this point and sanitize. Now I'm going to take my 2 remaining cups with my bare hands over to our process. All right, you're going to take your 2 remaining cups, one that has your films that you've already wiped down. You're going to set it on the ledge inside, and then your empty cup. And then you would have grabbed a biohazard bag and placed it in the daylight loader as well. At this point, you will close the lid. Make sure this little window is open so you can see when you're unwrapping your films. And then now you're going to go ahead and sanitize and put clean gloves on. All right, now that you have your clean gloves on, we're going to go ahead and place your hands through the sleeves of the daylight loader. The reason we have so many glove changes is because processing manual films, there's a lot of opportunity that cross-contamination can happen, so we want to minimize that as much as possible. All right, now that my hands are in here, normally obviously the lid would be closed, that way we wouldn't light expose our film, but I want you to be able to see what the process looks like. So you're going to take your film, We're gonna open up the back of it, and remember there's the foil, the paper, and then the actual piece of film. So we wanna separate all that. You're gonna grab the film, and that's what you're gonna place in that second cup that was in there. And then the rest you're just gonna put into the biohazard bag. And then if you had multiple films, you would do that same thing. Once you've unwrapped the last one, you're gonna go ahead and just take your gloves off in the daylight loader here and put them in the bag. You're gonna take the cup that has your films, and then you're gonna place it on the ledge here. And again, you're gonna space that out so they don't get stuck together. So if you start all the way at the edge, then you'll kind of go towards the middle and then all the way over at the other side. And then you'll notice that the processing light is flashing. That tells you that your films are going through the processor. Once that stops blinking, you would be able to take your hands out of the daylight loader. Okay, so now you have your bare hands, but now we got to take care of our garbage that's inside, so we need to put another pair of gloves on. And we'll take care by wiping out and disinfecting the inside of the daylight loader. All right, now I put another pair of gloves on, so we're going to take care of our garbage on the inside here. So the one thing we do need to get from the bag is your lead foil. You can leave the rest of the garbage in there. And then we take our lead foil and recycle it in the container that sits between the two processors. And then the rest of the garbage we would take over and just empty that out. For lab purposes, we'll reuse the bag. For patient care, you know, when we're using manual films, you would throw away the whole bag. So then we're gonna grab a disinfectant wipe, a couple of those, and we're gonna wipe out the inside of the daylight loader. So the little shelf here, the sides. And then we want to leave the lid open, that way it can air dry and it doesn't trap in any moisture. Okay, and then we would take off our gloves. And then takes about 5 to 7 minutes for the films to come out. They're gonna come out through the top right here. So normally you would have a film mount or an envelope that would have your name for lab, and then for patient care it would have the patient's name. And then that way we know whose films are coming through. Okay?